Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be repotting my Ficus rumphii. I got this cutting from Connor. It was in a tiny little plastic pot. So I repotted it into this larger pot, and today I think I'll put it in even a larger pot. Here's a look at the tree. So you can see it's growing quite well, quite vigorously. It's an unusual style, this tree. It has sort of a vertical trunk line here and then a branch each side. And if I rotate it around, you can see it's quite a strange looking tree. So I've decided, I'm going to keep these low branches that are coming out right at the ground, develop this trunk as my upright trunk, and just see what it looks like in the future. I can always cut these off in the future if I decide I don't like them, or restyle the tree, but for now I'm going to keep them. I don't want every ficus of mine to look the same, so this will be a bit of an unusual style on this one. Before I begin the repotting of the tree, I'm going to do some pruning just to bring it in a little more compact and do some branch selection. I'm looking at the styling of the tree now. So I have the main trunk line comes up and it divides into two here, divides into two again, which is good. I have a branch coming out the back, which is all right. I think all these branches are getting a little long and whippy. You can see, it starts here, the branch, and it goes all the way out to here. So I think they probably all need to be hard pruned back. Keeping them a little shorter so they get some more foliage closer to the trunk line, so they're not so long and whippy looking. So I'm going to take this back to here. I have a bud here. This one I'll take back to here. The one growing up is okay. I don't think I need to touch that one. It's quite compact. This one, again, it's very long. There's no movement or taper to it. I think it'd be better pruned off. So I'm going to go, there's a bud on top there, so I'll prune it off to here. Like that. And then, if I follow this trunk line, let me just clean this stub up. I've got this kind of trunk line that comes here. Now I've got two branches coming off, and I think they need to be more compact, so I'll just prune those off nice and compact. Yeah, quite a reduction. I think on this branch that's dead. And I can prune this one back to there. So that leaves me with this thickest kind of horizontal branch here. I'll start up here. This one's getting very long and whippy. I'll prune it back to here. This one to here. This one to here. I don't know if I want this one here. It's I already have my major branch division here, so I don't need a third branch in that area. So that comes off. I can clean this stub up like that. And then here I've got one branch kind of above each other. I think I'm going to prune the upper part off and keep my lower branch like that. And clean this stub up and prune this back shorter. So that's pretty compact now. And I think that'll do for the pruning. I can see, well, you can see that this trunk line, this one is parallel to this one. There's a bud on the top, so I'm hoping this one grows out in this direction. But it is something to watch for the future. Okay, that's all the pruning done. So now it's time to repot the tree. Here is what I took off the tree today. I took almost all the leaves. Yeah, it got quite a pruning. Okay, I'm going to take the tree out of the pot now. So I'll just lift up. There it goes. Let's see what the roots are like. Well, it's not too root bound. I can see lots of soil in here, but there is quite a amount of roots on the bottom. So it certainly won't hurt to get those roots sorted out once again and get the tree in a larger pot. I mainly want to get this in a deeper pot so the roots have a little more room to grow vertically. I think it'll increase the vigor of the tree. It did dry out quite quickly in this pot. There's it's a very shallow pot that it was in. I need to repotting. There's lots of rogue roots going everywhere here. I think I'll get my root hook out and just start doing a little combing out of the root system here. So last night we got lots of rain. It refilled my cube up, so I have 1,000 liters of water. Yeah, ready in case there's a dry spell in summer. Got lots of water to last me probably a month at least. Okay, so I've got the roots kind of sorted out and I got the soil removed. I'm going to take it to my washing station and just wash it clean now. And then we'll come back and start the root pruning. There's lots of wild roots here. Okay, I'll be right back. Here is a look at the root system all washed up. So it's got a fairly nice short little trunk on this tree. Yeah, I kind of like that. So it's time to do the root pruning now. You can see there's a lot of roots that aren't very radial and crisscrossing other roots. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, so I'll get that sorted out. Okay, so this root is a bit of an offender for a couple of reasons. It rises up out of the soil and then it crosses all these radial roots below, so I am going to remove it. Now, this is an aerial root here that can be positioned vertically. This root, it's you can see it starts here, gets the trunk, comes all the way out here without any taper or subdividing. So I think it needs to be taken off shorter, maybe to here. I could even go back further. I think I will. It's always good to get some subdivisions. There's a root in here. Radial's over here. It's growing exactly 90 degrees to radial. So I'm going to remove it entirely. Like that. These roots are fine. They're vertical aerial roots. This one could be just pruned back a little bit. Now you can see there is a big thick root coming out this side. It's the thickest root in the planting. There's another fairly thick one over here that's been pruned, but this one, it's definitely its turn this time. So I'm going to come in with the ratcheting pruners and make a big cut on this root. Cutting it way back So here I go. I'll come in maybe like this, and here I go. Big cut. Like that. Taking off that whole section. Now, I'm wondering, is that still too long? Maybe it is. Maybe I'll take it back even further. Yeah, I think that's a good length. So now you can see it's just more of a stub. New roots will grow out from the end of that. It should look quite nice. Now this one, I've got a root above, which is getting kind of high out of the root plane. Even this one over here is kind of high. But that one is more of an aerial root. Whereas this one doesn't really go down at all. So I'm going to take that one off. Like that. And then this one, definitely take the top root off here. And this one, it's growing too parallel with the soil. So I think I'm going to have to come in and reduce this back to like that. Taking the end off. And just leaving a stub of that root. So that has got a lot of the worst roots pruned up now. So I'm just going to recomb the roots to see where I'm at. Okay, so I see a root in here that could use some correction. It's not very radial, so let me have a look at that. So it starts from somewhere here and curls around, so I need to prune the curly part off. Like that. And this one's kind of going the wrong direction too. That one also. Yeah, I think everything else is looking good. The only thing I've got, trim back some of these longer roots just a bit. Underneath I can prune some of these roots back a little flatter on the bottom. Like that, I think that's good. I think the tree is ready to plant. I could plant the tree in the same pot. There's definitely, lots of room for root growth. But I was thinking of putting it in the deeper Chinese pot that I had my Kapok or Kapok tree in. I think it'll give it a little more room for those roots to grow. So I'll get the pot out. Here is a look at the new pot. So it's quite a large pot for the size of the tree, but I think it'll give, the roots lots of room to grow. It should gain a lot of vigor in this pot. So I'll get my drainage screens in the bottom of the pot and a base layer of soil, and then we'll come back and position the tree. I'm just positioning the tree in the pot now, making sure all my roots are combed out as radial as I can get them. And I want to make sure my aerial roots are kind of hanging vertically. So I've rotated the tree a bit, tilted it back so this trunk is a little more upright, offset it in the pot to the left-hand side, so there's kind of a look at the front. I think that's as good as I can get it. So I'm going to start adding the soil now. So here I go. Meow. Why do you keep going meow? Okay, I'm going to put just a little more soil around the tree, and then I can always rake it away as the tree becomes established, as the roots start growing into the new soil. Never be in a hurry to expose your surface roots. I'll just top everything up a bit here. Okay. Let me take one final last look from the front. Yeah, I guess that's good enough. This tree still doesn't excite me. It's yeah, a bit of an ugly duckling. I'm hoping, someday in the future it develops into something nice. I'll just keep working at it, see what I can make out of it. All right, it is time to water the tree now, so here I go. So a few changes for this tree today, slightly different planting angle, bit of pruning. But again, no major styling decisions or anything, but I think someday this tree will look nice. It'll take some time. Most trees, if you work on them, they always look a little better each year. It's very rare that you work on a bonsai and it gets uglier and uglier through the years. Okay, I think that's watered nicely. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles. So here's the front, coming around to the right-hand side, to the back, to the left-hand side, and back to the front. I finished the summer work on my Ficus rumphii. It's a bit of an unusual looking tree with those two low branches. But I'm hoping that the design matures and it starts to make more and more sense as the tree gets older into the future. It'll be an interesting experiment. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.